An agoraphobic woman with alcohol problems has been unable to step out her front door for the past 10 months. Confined in her home, she makes do with watching her neighbors across the street. Then a new family moves in, putting her life in severe danger. Will the situation cause her to lose her life or regain it? A woman named Anna watches her neighbors as they go about their daily lives. One family, the Russells, recently moved in. As Anna talks to her psychiatrist, it's revealed that she's agoraphobic.
Anna's agoraphobia completely disables her from leaving the house due to extreme fear. She's also quite heavily medicated. And if that's not enough of a difficult situation, she also drinks too much alcohol. But there is a little bit of consolation here because her husband calls every single day to check up on her.
Doctor encourages her to talk about her observations with her neighbor, hoping curiosity may inspire her to step out of her house finally. Then, one night, Ethan Russell, the son of Jane and Alistair, comes buzzing her door, saying he wants to give her a candle from his mother. Anna opens up and welcomes him. During the conversation, Ethan implies that his dad has abusive tendencies and he's a tyrant with the TV. Anna graciously lets him take whatever DVD he would like to watch. Anna welcomes Ethan several times over the next few weeks, expressing her concern for his safety and well-being. Since she witnesses from the window episodes of his father screaming and losing his temper, she hands him her number, telling him he can always call her if something goes wrong. On Halloween, her tenant David visits her and helps her with her house cleanup. He asks Anna if she's ready to give candy to children who'll come for trick-or-treat. Anna refuses, saying she'd turn her lights off and pretend no one's home. David sighs in exasperation. That night, Anna wakes up due to loud noise. She nervously rushes to the door only to see children screaming and throwing eggs at her front porch. Overcome with anxiety, she screams for them to go away, but they wouldn't stop. So with trembling hands, she opens the door intending to shoo them off, but she blacks out due to sheer anxiety. Just before she blacks out, however, she sees a blonde woman approaching her. Anna wakes up with the blonde lady asking her if she's okay. They continue to bond over wine with her cat, Punch, adding to what seems to be the start of a new friendship. Anna compliments Jane on her lovely earrings and they spend the rest of the night talking about their respective issues. The scene cuts to Anna waking up the next day panicking because she couldn't find her phone. As she goes through her house in great distress, she hears a high-pitched scream. Alarmed, she looks out the window and she witnesses Jane pushed and murdered with a knife. The terrifying scene sends Anna flying across her house. She tries to call the emergency hotline through her landline, but it doesn't connect. Where's her phone? Finally, she finds it hidden within a blanket. Taking hold of it, her hands dial the emergency number. It connects, and she hurriedly reports the situation as she stands in front of her window again, trying to get another glimpse of Jane. But the person on the other line firmly tells her to calm down because it's hard to understand her in her panic state. Then to her horror, Jane's bloody hand slams the window, looks directly into her eyes from across the street and mouths the words, "Help me!" This was the final straw for Anna. Her phone flies out of her hands as she bolts down the stairs. Repeating, "I'm coming for you, Jane." She grabs her red umbrella, unlocks her door, and steps out her front porch, which she was never able to do for the past 10 months.
Anna is showing tremendous courage in this scene. Despite her shortcomings, she is dead set on overcoming her fear of the outside for the sake of helping Jane.
But as she crosses the street, a car almost hits her and she loses consciousness. She wakes up with Alistair and two detectives looking at her in her house. Alistair accuses her of disturbing his and his family's peace. At the same time, the detectives try to get information out of her. Unfortunately, both detectives were inclined to doubt her account due to her obvious deteriorating state.
Who would believe a woman who takes that much medication and drinks that much alcohol and can hardly get out her front door?
But there was someone else present, a blonde woman Anna never saw before. As Anna tries to convince the detectives that Alistair murdered Jane, Alistair points to this blonde woman and claims, "This is Jane." And true enough, the woman presents herself as Jane Russell. Then, to increase her confusion, Ethan appears, denies Anna's claims and affirms that the blonde woman is Jane. The twisting event catches Anna off guard. She insists that this blonde woman isn't Jane and that she met Jane. Jane visited her, they talked, and she saw Jane murdered. But no one believes her, so Anna spends the rest of her days finding evidence, wanting to prove that the true Jane was murdered. She sets up a camera by her window to document the Russells. Her husband on the phone is telling her to knock it off and leave other people to their business. But Anna retaliates by saying that she just doesn't have the nature to move on. Everybody does, but not her. One night, Ethan revisits her, fearful and troubled, and Anna hurtfully asked why he lied.
Why would he protect his abusive father? When Alistair suddenly arrives, he slams Ethan into the wall and begins to scream and threaten Anna, telling her to stay away.
But the memory of Bloody Jane asking for her help spurs Anna on. At one point, she ends up in David's basement where she discovers Jane's earring and a statement of parole, revealing that David was once in prison with him breaking his parole conditions. Then she receives an anonymous email containing a picture of her while she's sleeping. This alarms her and causes her to call the detectives and David. The detective interrogates David, trying to determine if it's him. Anna also continues to insist that David knows Jane, and she even found her earring in his basement, but David denies it, accusing her of violating his privacy. Then Anna turns on Detective Little, telling him that if her husband were there, he'd believe her. This stuns both detectives, as they remind her that her husband and daughter have died 4 months. A flashback reveals that Anna was driving the car with her husband and daughter in the car with her. Anna and her husband were arguing with each other when her phone rings with a call from an unknown caller. Her husband suspects with anger that it's the man she's having an affair with. He reaches out for the phone, but Anna slaps his hand, causing the phone to fall. She bends down to reach for it. Her husband screams, "Anna!" as she drives them straight off a cliff, causing the deaths of both her husband and daughter.
With Anna having an affair and then making this fatal driving mistake, do you think she deserves all the suffering and pain she's going through?
Back to the present, she realizes that her husband's voice has been a hallucination all along.
If it is, who's to say that Jane wasn't just a figment of her imagination as well? So, she apologizes to the detectives and to the Russells.
She sets up her camera for a video log the next day, saying she's just waiting for David to come home, pick up his things and leave. Then she'll end her life for good. She admits that all she wants is to be forgiven, to be given a chance to go back and make it right, but she can't. After taking the video, she scrolls through her photos while waiting for David. She pauses on a photo of Punch, and there, reflected on a wine glass, is Jane's face. She's overcome with relief at proving to herself that she's not entirely crazy, that she didn't make things up. Jane is real. She hears a noise that frightens her. She discovers it's David and pleads with him to see the photo. He looks at it and reveals that it isn't Jane in the photo. Her real name is Katie Melly.
Based on the flashback that follows, Anna assumed that Katie was Jane. They both sported the same blonde haircut, but Katie never said her name was Jane in the first place. So again, Anna is revealing her unreliability.
David admits that he had a one-night stand with Katie. That's why he knows her name and why her earring is in his basement. Just then, Ethan appears seemingly out of nowhere and kills David with a knife. He proceeds to approach Anna with the bloodied knife in his hand. Anna is overcome with fright. Ethan taunts her and revealing that Katie is his biological mother, and just like her, she fails to care for her family. Ethan also reveals that he's the one who took the photo of her sleeping, and telling her if she didn't make a big deal out of the image of Katie's reflection in the wine glass, he would let her go. But now he has every intention of seeing Anna dead. Besides, didn't Anna want to die in the first place? He reminds her, why not do it now? Anna agrees. She dissolves the medicine combined into her drink and pretends to drink it, only to crush the wine bottle into Ethan's head. Both Anna and Ethan then engage in a brutal battle. Ethan is caught completely off guard by Anna's fighting spirit. He screams in frustration. In the end, Anna manages to push Ethan to his death. The next scene shows Anna waking up on a hospital bed, with Detective Little greets her and apologizes for his faulty investigation. He tells Anna that Alistair and Jane were arrested for helping Ethan cover up Katie's murder, and that he found Katie's lifeless body. The movie ends with Anna healthy and sober 9 months later. She is saying goodbye to the house that contains so many traumatic memories. And she moves on with a smile, no longer afraid of the world that awaits her.
Do you like stories where the main character's point of view is questioned? You feel like you know what's going on, but the deeper you get into the story, the more you realize that you don't know what's going on. And suddenly you find out that the main character's perspective might not actually be as reliable as you may have initially thought. And at the same time, the other characters' behaviors also make it hard to believe them. They too end up making poor decisions, and they have not so pure intentions. The consistent feeling of not really being able to put your finger on what's going on, that's what's going to keep you on the edge of your seat throughout this movie. And Anna's constant battle with both fear and anxiety, that will stir your empathy. But things really dial up once Anna and Ethan start fighting. One fighting for her life, the other for his secrecy and thrill-seeking. All in all, a suspenseful movie worth the watch. Please subscribe to our channel to be notified when we upload. And don't forget to suggest movies that you want us to recap in the future in the comments down below.